Ever wondered why a beat-up old pickup from 1975 can still pull stumps while your brand new truck starts falling apart after 150,000 miles? Back in the day, trucks were built differently, with engines engineered for one goal: to never die. These weren't just motors. They were mechanical workhorses with cast iron blocks, forged internals, and designed so simple and strong they bordered on indestructible. Let's count down the top 10 most reliable vintage trucks that were blessed with engines that refused to quit, no matter the abuse, neglect, or age. Number 10. Dodge Power Wagon, 1946 to 1965. 230 flathead inline 6 after World War II. Dodge repurposed its military truck for civilian use, and it was a game changer. The Power Wagon featured the 230 cubic inch flathead inline 6, an engine designed to run on virtually any fuel. Gasoline, kerosene, diesel, even alcohol, it didn't care. With an ultra-low compression ratio of 6.7 to 1, it was practically unbreakable. Farmers ran these for decades, sometimes using whatever flammable liquid they had in the barn. One owner in Nebraska mixed diesel and gasoline by accident, and the engine just kept chugging. With a crankshaft you could use as a boat anchor and a block heavy enough to crush a Prius, these engines were simply built different. Even today, it's rare to find a blown 230 flathead. You'll often see a rusted-out shell of a Power Wagon, but the engine still hums like it did in 1946. Number 9. Nissan Hardbody, 1986 to 1997. Z24i and KA24e. While Detroit was figuring out emissions laws in the 80s, Nissan quietly released the Hardbody pickup. These trucks weren't flashy, but they were indestructible, especially the Z24i and later KA24e engines. These 2.4L inline 4s used simple timing chains, SOHC architecture, and rugged bottom ends. They weren't powerful, 106 to 134 horsepower depending on the year, but they ran forever. Mechanics loved them because there were no computers, no turbochargers, and no tricks. Stories of 300,000 plus mile engines are common. One Oregon owner hit 547,000 miles with the original engine and transmission, just by changing the oil every 3,000 miles. In Central America and the Middle East, these trucks are still daily drivers, hauling goods through deserts, jungles, and pothole-riddled roads. Number 8. Ford F-Series, 1948 to 1952. Flathead V8. Ford had been perfecting the flathead V8 since 1932. By 1948, it was a masterpiece of simplicity. No overhead valves, just flat cylinder heads and valves in the block. It wasn't powerful, around 100 horsepower, but it was tough as nails. These engines had oversized cooling systems, simple valve trains, and a design so easy to work on you could rebuild it in your barn. Farmers and business owners ran them into the ground, and still couldn't kill them. A Texas rancher reportedly drove his 49 F1 for 3 years with a cracked head, refilling coolant daily. It never missed a beat. With thick bearing caps and a forged crank that looked like Thor's hammer, the flathead V8 was more than just reliable, it was legendary. Number 7. Chevrolet GMC trucks, 1963 to 1990. 292 inline 6. Everyone loves the chivvy small block, but the 292 inline 6 was GM's real workhorse. Designed strictly for trucks, the 292 was built with heavier rods, bigger bearings, and a massive 4.12-inch stroke. At 170 horsepower and 275 pound-foot of torque, it didn't break speed records, but it hauled everything. This engine was made to idle 4 hours, start and stop all day, and keep running even if you forgot the last oil change. One logger in Washington put 789,000 miles on a 1978 GMC with the original 292. His secret? Use 10W40 oil and change it when it looks dirty. When the body rusted away, he patched it and kept going. Number 6. International Harvester, 1960s 1980s. 345-392 V8 International Harvester didn't care about making sleek cars, they built machines. And their 345 and 392 cubic inch V8s were industrial-grade engines that happened to fit inside pickups. The 345 made around 197 horsepower, and the 392 around 210. But the real story was in how they survived. These engines were designed to run wide open, in the heat, under heavy loads, all day long. The blocks were so thick you could overbore them by 0.125 inch and still have strength to spare. A contractor in Illinois ran 5 trucks with these engines for years, racking up over 2.3 million miles combined on original engines. In Cuba, where parts are non-existent, international trucks with these V8s are still in daily use, held together with baling wire, homemade gaskets, and a lot of luck. The engines? Still thumping. Number 5. Dodge Ram, 1989 to 1998. 5.9L Cummins 12-valve diesel. When Dodge added the 5.9L Cummins to its Ram trucks in 1989, the game changed forever. This was a real diesel, with roots in farm equipment and semi-trucks. It made 400+ pound-foot of torque right out of the gate and could run forever with basic maintenance. No computers, no sensors, just mechanical injection, forged internals, and a block heavy enough to anchor a battleship. A hotshot driver in Texas logged 1.3 million miles on his 1996 Ram with the original engine. After teardown, all 6 cylinders were within 5% of factory compression. It only needed water pump replacements and regular oil changes. It's not uncommon to see these engines in junkyards where the body is wrecked, but the engine still runs. Number 4. Dodge Plymouth, 1960 to 1987. Slant 6, 225. Nicknamed the Leaning Tower of Power, the Slant 6 was as ugly as it was reliable. The 225 version made around 145 horsepower, but it was indestructible. With forged steel cranks, gear-driven cams, and cast-iron everything, it could run under just about any condition. One Arizona landscaper racked up 847,000 miles on a 1973 D200 with the original engine. He changed the oil when he remembered and adjusted valves every 100,000 miles. That was it. Even with no oil, these engines kept running. A farmer in Iowa forgot to refill after an oil change and drove 50 miles. The engine complained, but didn't quit. He topped it off and drove it 5 more years. Number 3. Toyota Pickup, 1984 to 1995. 22R 22R. The Toyota 22R and 22RE were humble 2.4L inline 4s that made just over 100 horsepower, but they had the reliability of a nuclear reactor. Timing chain? Check. Overbuilt bottom end? Check. Simplicity? Absolute. These engines ran forever. One story from Libya tells of rebels patching bullet holes in the block with wood and JB weld, then running it for another 50,000 miles. Farmers in Australia, construction workers in Africa, and ranchers in Texas swear by the 22R. It's not uncommon to see 400,000 plus miles on one with just basic service. Some are passed down like family heirlooms. Even today, used 22R engines command a premium, and entire businesses exist just to rebuild them. Number 2. Chevrolet CK Series, 1967 to 1972. 235 261 Stovebolt inline 6. Before small blocks ruled the world, Chevy had another secret weapon, the Stovebolt. By the time it landed in the 67 to 72 CK trucks, it had evolved into one of the most reliable 6-cylinders ever made. The 235 and 261 made up to 155 horsepower, but they were designed to last. 7 main bearings, forged crankshafts, and bulletproof. Construction meant they could run on bad gas, in cold weather, and 3 years of abuse. One Kansas farmer drove his 1968 C20 for 489,000 miles. Original engine, never rebuilt. It burned a little oil, sure, but compression stayed within 10% of factory spec. Number 1. Ford F-Series, 1973 to 1979. 300 inline 6, and here it is. The king of the iron block legends. The Ford 300 inline 6. This engine was the definition of durability. 7 main bearings. Gear-driven cam. Agricultural head design. It didn't make much power, just about 120 horsepower, but it made torque for days, right off idle. UPS ran fleets of trucks with these engines for decades. Farmers ran them on propane and natural gas. Tree companies powered PTO wood chippers with them. One Oregon company ran a 1976 F-250 at full throttle, 8 hours a day, for 23 years straight. When they finally tore it down, the bearings looked new, and the cylinder walls were still in spec. They could have rebuilt it and run another 23 years. That's not just a great engine. That's mechanical immortality. These engines weren't built to be fast. They weren't flashy. But they were designed to do one thing: run forever. From rusted-out Fords to diesel-powered Rams, these motors earned their reputation in fields, forests, deserts, and job sites around the world. If you're lucky enough to still have one of these legends in your driveway, take care of it. Change the oil. Keep it fed. And it'll outlive your grandkids.